Hey, it's that Deadeye guy. Let's talk about WonderCon 2018. The expo is held at the Anaheim Convention Center, the same venue that hosts BlizzCon every year. The event is organized by the same folks that put together the infamous San Diego Comic-Con. This worried me at first. I've attended much smaller Comic-Cons before and always generally had a pretty good time. From the folks I know who've attended SDCC though, I've heard that it gets very crowded, to the point where the event starts to be unenjoyable. PAX East was starting to get like that before I moved away from the East Coast, and I wasn't looking forward to having to fight through slow-moving crowds of people just to see all the booths. It was pretty weird seeing the floor arranged more tightly to fit in all the booths and storefronts. BlizzCon has a lot of open walkways, whereas WonderCon stayed pretty crowded everywhere you went on the show floor. It wasn't near as bad as I'd originally thought though. There were plenty of attendees, but the amount of people never got so bad that it started to deteriorate my experience. Good news, because overly heavy crowds in a place like this really kills enjoyment at these types of events. One thing I enjoyed quite a bit was the volume of original artwork that was available. There were hundreds of individual booths hosting individual artists or studios freely selling their content. You could be looking at an original drawing of Spider-Man and then turn around and see a completely different take on the web-crawling superhero from a completely different artist. Pretty much any style you could ask for was represented, and as someone who has virtually zero artistic ability, I always appreciate being able to see new and interesting takes on existing characters and stories. There were plenty of storefronts set up all around the floor. Everything from collectible figures to t-shirts were all represented. The most interesting sales booths were the accurate costumes and outfits worn within movies and comic books. One particular booth that worked with real leather had several renditions of Batman's various costumes that looked absolutely fantastic. The prices were real steep though. Anyone looking to add one of these fine pieces to their collection would have to reach real deep into their pocketbook. Another type of booth I noticed to be pretty popular were the loot crate style booths. These stores would sell you a mystery box for some kind of fixed price and claim that the contents within the box are worth more than the price that you paid. Whether you actually want the specific items contained within doesn't really matter, even if you got a themed box that you thought you might want. This kind of thing pulls on the same strings as the paid loot crates within various gaming titles. Considering there's a push to label the digital versions as gambling, I'd be curious about a discussion as to why that doesn't apply here. I kept away from the real-life loot boxes and decided that if I really wanted something, I'd just buy the specific item instead. One major disappointment was the lack of gaming content. I get that WonderCon is comic book focused, so going in expecting to see a bunch of video games was probably a mistake on my part. Still, these types of cons tend to be celebrations of all geek culture, gaming included. While there was plenty of gaming merch to be sold, I didn't see any actual video game resellers or collectors showing off their wares. That was disheartening, as I'm a bit of a hobbyist collector, and there really wasn't much here for me to look at. My favorite part of WonderCon was meeting R.A. Salvatore, known most famously as the author of the Legend of Drizzt series. I read these Forgotten Realms based fantasy novels while I was forward deployed to Afghanistan, basically cover to cover, straight through from book 1 to the end. They really helped me when things were pretty tough and time was going by at a crawl. Getting to meet the man himself and have him personalize one of his books for me was awesome, and I could tell he was genuinely happy to hear that his work was passed around my platoon tent to help keep morale high. All in all, WonderCon was a pretty cool event with just the right amount of people and just the right amount of booths. I'm not sure if I'll go next year, as I think I prefer more specialized events that cater to my specific interests. Still, it was great seeing a Comic-Con of this size in person and serves as a great introductory if I ever plan to make it down to San Diego for the big one. Thanks for watching. Did you go to WonderCon 2018? What'd you think? Let me know down below or over on Twitter. And if you'd like to support the channel, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up and a subscribe. Until next time.